Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher, and we are here to discuss Arsenal versus Aston Villa from back on Saturday afternoon UK time. What a comeback! It looked dead and buried there for a while, but the boys dug deep and they managed to pull out a really important point. We've got a huge week ahead with Monaco coming. We'll talk about that game as well. But we're going to look back at that great second half, and that's coming up with a lot more coming up after this. Yes, and welcome back to Coupe de Villa Live. Sorry, I was tongue-tied before. We've also got here a little bit late, but thanks for all being here and waiting patiently. Noah, what a game! Let's get onto it straight away because there was so much to talk about. First of all, going into the match, there was just a one change with Maatsen coming in for Digne. Still a very strong team. Marlon was on the bench, which was very exciting. We didn't get to see him, of course, but just see him there, is a good feeling. It's exciting with the games to come. And it's a place where we got a great win last season, and I think with the form sort of turning around a bit, we were quietly confident we could do something in this game.
Yeah, exactly that. Obviously, the big news was Daniel Marlon signing in the week. It was good to see him on the bench, as you said. I was kind of praying he'd get a few minutes just to see what he could do for us, but obviously not the right game or situation for him to kind of been thrown in. I thought, Maatsen was a weird one to start in a game like this. I always said he's good at running at teams that will sit back, and obviously Arsenal, a team that will come at you for the whole 90 minutes, and it proved to be quite a difficult task for him. Luca Digne came on at halftime and made a massive impact, and that we'll speak about later. But what a game, what a comeback. It's a happy hunting ground of recent years. What a win under Dean Smith, and then Emery's last year, 6 point and a point on Saturday. So, yeah, not too bad at all.
Yeah, and look, we might have put the final nail in Arsenal's title challenge 2 years in a row. But look, it's not about them; it's about us. And look, we've got our own goals this season. And look, we're up into. I think we're still in the top 7.
No, we're 8th after the.
We're 8th. Yeah, Bournemouth went ahead of us. That was a bit.
And City jumped ahead of a lot of clubs with their big win.
They did. But look, we've got some winnable games coming up, and I think we can definitely sort of push that top 4, top 5, and hopefully, make a real push for Champions League football. But look, the game itself, I thought, the first half was difficult. They obviously put us under a lot of pressure. Trossard and Martinelli especially, I think, gave Maatsen and Cash a bit of a hard time in that first half. We also, weren't really holding on to the ball maybe as well as we could, but we were creating a few little chances here. Ollie Watkins had a chance where Partey threw the ball in, and he put it over the bar. There was Maatsen had a good effort as well, but it was straight at Raya. But apart from that, not too much to talk about from a Villa point of view, and we go 1-0 down. Martinelli with the goal, and Martinez makes like a pretty good save, but unfortunately the momentum takes it over the line, and he probably, would be disappointed, I think, a little bit with that. Just maybe he could have palmed it out a bit, got a bit more behind it, but unfortunately, goal line technology said it crossed the line, and we went into halftime a goal down.
Yeah, I actually thought we played okay in the first half, Scott. I remember mentioning it to you during the game, and you thought we didn't play so well. I thought we were set up quite well defensively. Besides the chance they scored, I don't remember many other like big chances for them going through. Martinez made a couple of big saves, I think. The only one that springs to mind was the other one off. Was it off Martinelli as well when he had to run out a little bit and save it? But I thought we set up fine in the first half. We kind of nullified them a lot, let them have the ball, but defensively we annoyed them. Bogard came on. Obviously, Onana went off injured just after the goal. What a game! I actually was very impressed with him in CDM. You were saying, "Oh, put Tielemans back." You know, why Bogard? That's why Bogard. He's a natural CDM, and we're playing him out of position. He can play centre back as well, and he's got a bright future now. A lot of clubs want him on loan in the Championship and in the Bundesliga. So I think CDM's his spot, and can definitely see him playing there going forward.
Look, I didn't have a problem with him playing. It's just it seemed like a big moment, a big game. You know, like he really was thrown into
Emery
the
stuck to the game plan though, Scott. He stuck to the game plan. He wanted 2 CDMs in there. Tielemans playing above him, and it worked. At the end of the day, the game plan worked. We went in there with him for a minimum point, and we got that. I know my mate Sam's here watching, and
Tielemans was awesome.
He's an Arsenal fan, so hopefully he enjoyed the game as much as I did. Whispers Racing podcast. So yeah,
nice. Look, well, RIP Arsenal's title challenge.
I can't wait to tomorrow. So I'll love a chat about it.
Yeah, the Arsenal fans aren't happy, of course. They never are. They've got a very weird sort of fan base, I would say. Very, very vocal online, and they've got some interesting takes. We'll get to that in a minute, I think. But let's talk about the rest of the game, because I thought coming out of halftime, we're 1-0 down. We haven't played great, but there's been a few moments there. And I thought, Emery would maybe sort a few things out, get us playing a bit more. But it was actually the opposite. I thought that was our worst period coming out of, in the first 15 minutes of the second half. And, we were really sloppy and under a lot of pressure, couldn't keep the ball at all. And we go 2-0 down by Kai Havertz. And again, Martinez is not really going to want to see that one back. I'm not really sure why he's going with his legs there. It's a bit of a weird one, but you could tell he was disappointed. And it looked at that stage that it was all over.
I completely agree with you. That was probably one of the worst bits of play for a long time. And that started that. The first 10 minutes of that second half was atrocious. And Martinez probably would like to have both those saves back for both the goals. Look, they're split-second decisions. It's hard to go, he should have gone with his hands. He has less than a second to think about what he's going to do. The ball's coming at him pretty quick. And, unfortunately, it went against us for those 2 moments. He's made some unbelievable saves this season. He's the best keeper in the world for a reason. And I can't say that the backline let him down. This game, I actually thought the backline was set up so well defensively and did a great job. Won the most aerial duels in a game since 2021 or something. Tyrone Mings is looking back to his best. Concer's playing great at centre back, and Matty Cash did a great job, I thought, as well.
Yeah, I think Mings was great, especially the second goal. Unfortunately, I think he lets Havertz sort of get in front of him a little bit there, but apart from that moment, I felt he was excellent. He won everything in the air. His passing, I've been really impressed with since he's come back from injury. Just, because he's got that role now where he's sort of the guy playing the Pau Torres role, where he seems to be the one that plays the progressive passes from the back. And, that's a big sort of, responsibility in this Emery system. And but he likes to pick out the likes of Rodgers, Tielemans, and play those balls, into midfield. And I've been really impressed with his delivery and his range of passing, since coming back. He's done a great job. He did in this game. And look, we come back, and the comeback starts from Yuri Tielemans, as I mentioned earlier, and it was Bogard spraying the ball out to Digne with a great pass, 100% passing accuracy for Bogard, I've got to say as well, since he came on. Not one pass went astray, and this one was probably his best one of the match, spreading the ball out to Digne, who whips in a perfect Digne, cross that we've seen plenty of times this season. And Tillemans does, not a Tillemans goal we see very often,
I know.
getting his head in there, but he's where he needs to be, and a bullet header.
I don't think I've ever seen Tielemans to score a diving header. It definitely wasn't on my bingo card going into the game.
No.
It's his first Premier League goal of the season. I think it's his second goal of the season in all comps. I'm not sure when his last Premier League goal was for us. Has he ever scored one since he's come in? He would have had to score one or two.
He has.
Definitely scored a couple, but not many.
And he's so good going forward. He obviously missed the penalty.
Yes, obviously. I know
that. But he scored against Young Boys.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyone in the chat remember the last Premier League goal? It would have been last season.
Yeah.
Great to see him on the scorecard because, look, he's
been player of the season for me, Scott. He's been player of the season by far for me.
Apart from Rodgers, we don't get a heap of goals from midfield. And, Rodgers is kind of like a second striker as well. Like he's not a midfielder per se. But Kamara doesn't really score very often. Anana gets a few, but he's been injured. He's injured now, so it's good to see Tillemans get a goal, and it just really lifted the mood. And I thought from that moment on, we played great and we were the better team. Tillemans nearly scores again straight after, hits the post. That was a great effort, and we created more in that sort of last 20 minutes than we did for the rest of the match. And we started to really make Arsenal a bit nervous.
Well, up to about the 80th minute, we were in complete control. Obviously, the second goal comes not long after that. Tillemans' chance, and Bogart almost scored again. Like, it was just all Villa for that from the 61st minute onwards, whatever it was. And I thought, geez, we could easily pinch it here. But then obviously Arsenal, the home team, grow into the game and build. And both teams could have won it. So I think a draw is probably a fair result when you think about it. Obviously, the offside goal, which Havertz tried to claim and everything, and Arsenal fans say it's come off his chest, literally come off his arm. I thought it was very funny, all the reactions and stuff like that. But it's such a big point, Scott. We'll look back and, we weren't playing great away from home. We only just beat Everton, and we hadn't won since October away from home besides that. And you go to a tough place to go. They haven't lost to the Big Six, apparently, according to TNT Sport, for 1,600 days. They don't want to mention that we beat them there last year, but massive point.
Yeah, and the point was secured by Ollie Watkins. Great cross from Matty Cash onto his left foot, and I don't see him do that very often. I would like to. He does that cut back very often, where he drives to the line and cuts back, but he normally lays it off to someone. But great to see him, try a cross on his weaker foot, and it was an absolute beauty. And Ollie Watkins, well, he's a man, in form after his goal against Everton, and he just banged that in off the crossbar, just, like a man in form, which he is. And, the away end went absolutely mental, and I enjoyed it so much because, we struggled for a long time in the match, and, we needed a performance like this, I think, Yeah. And do you remember the last time we came back in a Premier League match from 2-0 down away from home?
Well, we were discussing it actually, and AVFC Stato, the legend himself, put it on Twitter. I believe it was the 2012-2013 season against West Brom. Was that right? Or the 2011-2012?
Against West Brom. I think 2012-2013. And Christian Benteke and Ashley Westwood scored.
What a duo.
At the Hawthorns. And
that's today's Yuri Tielemans and Ollie Watkins. That combination.
Well, look, I think maybe that's a bit of an upgrade these days. Hopefully, I'd like to think so, but they were tough days back then, weren't they?
Really tough days.
That would have been Lambert's team, I think.
Yeah, definitely would have been Lambert, I think. Yeah.
But no, we come back and showed some great characters, some great resilience, and after the Everton win, I think we really needed a positive result in this match just to keep sort of the momentum going. And, everyone around us seems to be winning, and getting.
Yeah, that's the tough thing.
We can't lose many games if we want to really keep in this hunt. And I think, we've got West Ham coming in the league. We've got some other. Well, who else we got? We got any? You got the look. I might
West
just go
Ham,
through.
Ipswich, Chelsea, I believe, are coming up.
Yes. So look, there's some winnable games coming up. Chelsea will be tough, of course, but that is at home, and they've dropped off a little bit. But look, I think this was huge just to get this win. And then we can go to Monaco on Tuesday night, and really go with some confidence and knowing
Absolutely.
that where we've got some good results in the bank.
Yeah, I mean, it was big when Bournemouth played Newcastle and stuff. We're talking about teams dropping points. That would have been great to be a draw. St James's Park, Newcastle obviously shut the bed, lost 4-1. Was it in the end, I think, 4-1? Clive with a hat-trick.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's what's going to happen. Teams around are going to pick up points. We have to beat the teams below us and try to get points around us. That's what we've done. I can't quite stay. I think everyone in Villa social media is saying how big of a point that could end up being. You look back to that Liverpool draw at the end of last season, 3-3. It's only a draw at home, but it's an absolutely massive point.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we beat City. We've drawn with Arsenal now. Hopefully we can sort of be a bit more competitive against some of the bigger teams, because we got a couple of spankings of Chelsea and of Newcastle, of course. There was a red card in that game, so sort of paid into that a little bit. But we hadn't really turned up to any of those big games so far this season, and then City get the win there. And look, I think we are sort of getting closer and closer to our best form, and it's been a while coming this season. I think we've struggled a little bit with the Champions League, Premier League schedule, but we're still in the FA Cup. We've got a great chance against Monaco to secure a top 8 finish in the Champions League on Tuesday. And look, if we can start, if we win in Monaco Tuesday night, boy, I mean, we're going to start having a real feel-good factor around the team. I guess the one question I do have for you is, are you concerned about the injuries? Because Anana's out now. So that midfield area is starting to look a bit thin with Barkley and McGinn also out.
It's concerning. It is concerning. Obviously, we'll get them all back at once, and then we'll have a full-strength team. But you look at Tottenham with Ange, you can't control injuries, and you have to adjust the way you play, unlike what Ange is doing. And I think that's what Emery does really well. He has a plan A, B, and C, and he can adjust to the team he has put out there. I think Onana will be okay. I think it's just a bit of a knock that he's got. But McGinn's back soon. Barkley was only a little calf injury, and I think we're going to get some more players in as well. Obviously not in the midfield, but I think Garcia coming in the back line can potentially put Cash onto right wing and put Ramsey in the middle. It's a lot of options we can go with, but it's an absolutely massive game. And as Flynn said here, you can't underestimate Monaco. You can't, because they're doing really well in Ligue 1, and are they top 8 in the Champions League at the moment? Or I know they're not too.
They're just outside. I think they've.
Just
they got 10 points. We've got 13 points. So it's a huge match. Even if we got a draw, I think it would be a decent result. Celtic,
but
I
think we'll go there and win. I think Emery knows that he wants to get it the top 8 secured as quick as possible and lock it in, and he's going to go their strongest team. I think not many changes to what we saw at Arsenal. I know it's a quick turnaround, playing on the Tuesday night, but it's going to be unbelievable atmosphere. I'm so jealous for the 1,500 Villa fans going over there, and it's going to be great.
Absolutely. And just finishing off with the Arsenal game, the big sort of moment was I guess at the end when Arsenal get the ball in the net, but it comes off Kai Havertz's hand, and obviously it just in the moment it felt wrong. Like they weren't celebrating. It
was weird.
It seemed like something was up, and then I saw Kamara with his hand up, appealing, like hitting his hand, like suggesting it was handball, and Marino didn't even really celebrate. So I was pretty confident from early that something had happened. It was going to be it was going to be chalked off, and then I saw the replay, and it was clearly a handball from Havertz, but a lot of Arsenal fans don't think it is. Noah, what is that?
I don't know. It's a weird one, because apparently the ref had the whistle like to his lips ready to blow it anyway. And he's like, oh, VAR will check it. So he kind of knew VAR was going to check it anyway, and he thought it was that obvious. I don't understand why they don't think it hit the hand. I don't quite see where that's come from.
I know they're saying it came off his hip or his stomach, but if you watch the trajectory of the ball after it hits him, it goes off on an angle and upward, just the same angle that his arm is positioned in. And it's
if it had come off his chest, the ball would have just dropped dead because it would have gone into his arm. It would like gone straight chest into arm. It would drop dead. Probably would have more of a deadly chance, but they can whinge all they want. Arsenal fan TV, whatever they want to say, it's not going to change the result. And we got a gutsy, from behind point. I hope Gary liked it. He's been the away form since Gary's been around hasn't quite been as good, but
Gary was watching, and look, he's actually been a good luck charm. Like I've had him for the on my lap for the Everton game, and I've had him for the Leicester game as well. So he's been bringing a few good results recently. So it's been great. But look, I think we live in a world where facts can be fiction and fiction can be facts, depending on what side of the fence you live on. And that just sums up the social media, kind of shit show that it can be. That something as clear as that. Some people who consider themselves serious fans, or even pundits or commentators, social commentators on YouTube channels, on fan accounts or whatever, actually believe that was anything but a handball is crazy. But look, that's not for us to worry about. We we got the 2-2, and we look forward to the next one. And
massive game in the Premier League. Obviously, not talking about Monaco, but massive game in the Premier League. West Ham at home. We just recently played them in the FA Cup. We know how Graham Potter sets up. He knows how we set up, because it was kind of full strength v full strength for that game anyway for the FA Cup. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that game plays out. I reckon we should have won 50-50 again. Yeah,
they've got their injuries. They've got both their strikers out at the moment, Antonio and Fulkrug. So might see a bit of Danny Ings, back at his old club. Look, I think I think they beat Fulham in a bit of a weird game that Fulham dominated, but they came crashing back to earth this weekend when they were defeated by Palace, was it? I think, So, I don't think they're a very good team. Somehow they still are ahead of Spurs, though. So,
I really feel for Ange. I really, really feel for Ange, but it's football, and it's a cutthroat industry, and all fans want his results. They don't see that he's got, his two keepers out. He's using his fourth choice keeper or third choice keeper. He's the only really fit superstars, Heung-min Son. And you really got to feel for him. Like, imagine that, we had Joe Gauchi starting in the Premier League. He's not quite up to it. We all know he's not quite up to it, but they see results, and you start getting a bit fickle.
Yeah, but I think he's also kind of making a few errors in that
he's not adjusting to his team. That's one reason. He's not adjusting to situations. And as I said before, that's literally what Emery can do and does.
Yeah, Emery has 15, 20 ways of playing, and he can go through them, in game, between games. Like, we started off this match with quite a sort of mid-block, and then we went, at times we had sort of 6 at the back. I was watching, and, it's really quite amazing the way that we can adapt, and everyone seems to go along with it, know the game plan. We don't look, ragged. We don't look open. And, we still have a threat on the break. And even, I wouldn't even say we're a counter-attacking team. I think we build up. We play it past the ball. We like to dominate on the ball. And, we have this weird sort of, fluid system where we can sit back, we can push, we can press, we can sit in a mid-block with a high line, and, Emery has it all down pack, and everyone, it doesn't matter if you're, Tyrone Mings has been out for a while, or, maybe Daniel Marlin who's coming in, or Bogard who hasn't played for a while. You can just fit in, and, if he trusts you to play, you more often than not, we've got the players that can pick up the system and play it very well.
Exactly, and that's why Emery goes to these sorts of players. You don't have to be a superstar to fit into an Emery system, and we've kind of seen that with players he signed. Like, I'd never heard of Morgan Rogers 18 months ago. I didn't know who he was, never Scooby-Doo, but he's fit in, and he's one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League, and he's playing for England now. I mean, he's paid £7 million for him, and fans thought he overpaid and whatnot. But you got to think, like, a lot of the players that are in this team have adjusted to his system. They weren't Emery players. A lot of them are Dean Smith signings, they're Steven Gerrard signings, and besides Rogers, Torres, Duran, Onana, like, you can put them on one hand pretty much who's playing that he actually signed.
Yeah. No, it's it's amazing to see like how he's just improved the players as well.
Yeah.
And look, we're looking good. We're really excited. Let's talk about some of the new signings because we got Andreas Garcia, I think his name is, from Levante.
That hasn't gone through yet.
No,
it looks like it's going to. The only one that's officially signed, I call it, like, on social media for Aston Villa, is Daniel Marlon.
Yes, but it's looking like Garcia will happen.
Yeah.
As well as Bardet, is it, from Seville, the centre back, and there was a lot of like amateur scouts watching him for Seville this weekend. They were playing Girona, and they said that he looks pretty good, and he had a few good moments in that game, but also had a few dodgy moments. But I think Seville are kind of struggling a little bit. So maybe he's not playing in the greatest environment right now, but look, I trust Monchi and Emery if they see something in it. I mean, YouTube clips on Twitter and that can very often make a player look better than they really are. But that Garcia does have a few bangers in there.
I saw a few highlights of him. He can hit a ball.
Yeah, and there was one where he went on like a 60, 70-yard run down the right wing and cut in and smashed it on his left foot in off the post. It looks like he's got a bit of quality there. And it looks like these players are being watched by, big clubs in Spain. And, and
they're picking Villa at the moment. Like, Villa is a destination club for some of these young talents coming through, and we've seen that by getting academy signings in, and we've been doing it for quite a while, like Louis Barry, Timmy Agrabonum, and all these kind of academy players coming to us because of how our academy's set up, but it's only get better and better.
And in the PSR days, like you need to be able to spot this talent, early before anyone else, like Morgan Rogers, for example. Like if we had left at 6 months with the Morgan Rogers deal, he might have been double that price, and
who knows?
And there would have been other teams in for him as well, I'm sure. But we got in there quick. We got him for a low price, and I think we've done something similar with the Daniel Marlon signing. 21 million euros for a guy who scored, I think it was 15 goals in all competition last season and had like 10 assists as well. I think there's a lot of Dortmund fans out there and fans of neutral clubs that think not only are we getting a good player, but we got him for an absolute steal.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm excited to see him play. I really am. Obviously, I said when we signed him, I haven't watched a lot of him. Watching a lot of YouTube highlights, but it's obviously the best of the best. Like when we signed Leon Bailey, his highlight packages looked elite, and you get glimpses of that. Obviously not consistently, but I'm excited. He's rapid, FIFA merchant. Love using him on FIFA Ultimate Team. 90-odd pace, so he's rapid. But as I said, we've gone from having not a lot of pace to having a lot of quick players in this team now. We could never break on the counter, and Duran, Watkins, Bailey, Marlon, Rogers, they're all quite quick. So it's quite exciting.
It is exciting, and look, I wouldn't be surprised if those two do come in. That maybe there's one or two more as well. Maybe a loan move, like a sneaky loan move for I don't know. I mean, is there anyone out there that you would love for us to bring? I mean, I was looking at Justin Kluivert. Someone like that, I think, would work well in our system. I know he's a guy who's maybe been a bit inconsistent. He's been a bit of a journeyman He's been to a lot of clubs.
But I think he's
such a young
finally
guy.
settling down. As much as I'd love to sign Justin Clive, I don't think he's someone, especially the way Bournemouth are playing and the way they're going, is going to cost us a lot of money to pinch him.
Yeah, I don't think we could get him in January, and I don't think.
No.
I don't think. I think he should probably stay where he is for, considering how many clubs he's been to, and he's finally found a home. But there are some good players, definitely out there that maybe are we have the ability to get. I mean, I look at some of the Nottingham Forest players who are absolutely killing it this season, and some of their defense, Aina, Murillo, Milinkovic, these guys,
good players.
They're fantastic players. And I mean, I know if they finish in the top 4, top 5 this season, they'll probably keep hold of these guys because they'll have Champions League football. But, there's, a right back like Aina, I think would fit in lovely in our team.
I know. But it's gonna be a tough one though, because again, Forest are flying. They're absolutely flying. So
that's it. And hopefully Garcia can come in and be that guy. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Would be good.
Anything else you want to touch on before we maybe get out of here? I know we should probably do.
We've got predictions because we're going to do a podcast after Monaco anyway, so it's probably not overly amount to touch on. But
yeah,
how exciting!
Fantasy, I had a terrible week.
Oh, I think everyone did, but I'm not going to worry about fantasy at the moment.
Yeah, so. But Monaco, I'm going to say 3-2 to Villa.
3-2 to Villa.
Maybe a Duran goal. It'd be interesting to see if there's a few changes. Actually, maybe Duran might get a start. Maybe
he might.
Maybe Marlon. Oh, Marlon can't start.
No, he can't be in the squad. But that's why I think he'll start against West Ham.
Yes, and I heard Duncan say that earlier that he thinks he'll play against West Ham. So looking forward to that. But do you think Bogard will start?
Potentially. I wouldn't be opposed to it again. He did a role, and I reckon he's deserved to start. He struggled at right back. We all know he struggled at right back, but his natural position is defensive midfielder or a centre back. And I can see him. I'd give him a shot. I think
after his performance against Arsenal, I'd like to see him given another shot. Like I'd like to see a lot of younger guys. Maybe that's one thing that Emery hasn't done as well as we'd hoped, or maybe he could do a bit more. Is give some of these young guys a few more games. Nedeljkovic as well has been sort of in and out. Bogard.
If we get Garcia, Ned will leave on loan. 100% he'll leave on loan. You think so? Yeah. He needs game time for his development. He's a great young player. But I think he's 18. He needs to get playing games of football. I honestly thought he'd be loaned out at the start of the season again, just for his development. When you're hanging around the squad, he's played, a full 90 minutes in the Carabao Cup, and it's just like, that's it.
Luca made a good point here that we didn't touch on, is that it looks like Diego Carlos is going to
it does.
Fenerbahce.
For we're going to get Balde, or how you say his name from Sevilla.
So, look, I mean, Carlos has had some great games.
He's literally arriving in Istanbul tonight.
Right.
According to Villa Reporter. So thanks for your service. That's what I'm going to say, because he's done some crap things. We all know he's given the ball away 50 million times, but in big games, I can think of City and Arsenal a few times where he's just dominated.
I think there is a good player there. I think the injury he got
really
when he first came, sort of hurt him. And I wish him all the best. I got nothing but respect, and he was part of a great team for us that got us into the Champions League. So
your dad doesn't agree. Your dad doesn't agree with him. Mate.
Yeah, I think it's probably time for him to move on. I agree with Jeff, but I think he had a few good games, and he wasn't an absolute flop. I would say he did his job at times, and hopefully Balde can come in and live up to his potential and be a real option in there, because we need it. Because if Mings or Konsa went down right now, we'd be in a bit of trouble. So
I agree, because we've only got one other fit centre back. that's Carlos. He's about to leave. So
yeah, so it'd be time for Swinkles or someone like that. Like,
yeah, bring on the youth.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we can keep all of our players fit.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, because we don't need any more injuries. We're at pretty much the limit right now. So let us know how you think you're going to get on. We're going to get on against Monaco. Make sure you like and subscribe, and
I can give my prediction if you want.
The channel.
Mine. So
go on, man.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I was going to say 3-0.
3-0.
Villa.
I have to say, I also nailed the prediction against Arsenal. I said 2-2.
Right.
So,
all right, buddy. All right,
just throwing it out there. I'm on form when it comes to predictions. So, watch this space.
I'll take if you offer me a 3-2 win right now, I'll snap your arm off for it. Obviously.
Absolutely. It'll be an interesting game for the neutrals as well, because it's the earlier kickoff, isn't it?
So it's 4:45 in Melbourne. So unfortunately, I won't be able to watch it. But
yeah, it's 1:45 here. Horrible time.
Oh, but you love a horrible kickoff, Scott. 2:30, 3 o'clock for us most weeks.
Look, I'll be up. I'll be up with the baby anyway. So anyway, thanks again. Please hit the notification bell. Make sure that you're here, because we're going to be probably going Wednesday night Australian time for a Monaco debrief. So make sure
subscribe
you catch us
as well.
Yes, make sure you subscribe. And until then, hopefully next time we speak, we're into the last 16 of the Champions League. Wouldn't that be nice? Qualification for the top 8. So until then, up the Villa, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.